Let's analyze the latest news of BP in 2025. Why is it going up after a severe correction, I would say? Let's analyze it together. Read the disclaimer right here in the video description below, and also join us, TNST, the most popular stocks of the US and European markets. And I would say this is a very interesting one because it's the typical dividend stock, because actually you add the dividend, look at how it changes. It's like instead of trading sideways or even with a downtrend, and you can clearly see the lines right here. You can even draw the trend line, and you may think, okay, this stock is going up, but when you add the dividend, it's a completely different story, and actually the uptrend is very clear even in 2025. But for dividend purposes, let's analyze this chart with the dividend included. What I would say, guys, I'm going to read the breaking news right now. This is a very interesting one. What we see here is like the key factors behind BP's stock rise in 2025. So the first one is the earnings beats. The second and third quarter, in terms of profits and cash flow, exceeded analyst expectations. And clearly, you can clearly see this in the forecast, because when we have here the reported earnings of the third quarter 2025, it was pretty good. It was, instead of 0.09 GVP, it was reported 0.11. So this type of reported earnings, especially stocks that are really well covered, we have 29 analysts from Wall Street covering this stock. That positive surprise factor is very positive, because normally the deviation is not too much, and when you have like a huge deviation in the reported, it's like super positive, and this is probably one of the reasons the stock went up again. The second one, guys, is like the turnaround strategy, refocusing on core oil and gas operations while scaling back costly green projects. It makes sense. It makes sense, guys, because the companies that are putting the resources where it has to be put it, it's essentially what they are doing. It's like, because if you instead of focusing on what you do best, and you keep wasting money, it's not good. It's not good for business. So if they refocus that on what they do best, for the net profit, the net income of the company is gonna be better. And actually, if we see the net income right here, you can clearly see they are going up again with this change, with this change of a strategy in comparison to before. And you can clearly see the drop. When there is a lot of money, okay, they can spend it and they can waste some, as AI companies do. But in this case, this is like you can put the dividend at risk. If you do that, investors are gonna flee from this stock. So it's important they focus on that. Apart from that, let's go to the third point. Is like the shareholder returns, ongoing share buybacks. It's like when they do buybacks, these stocks normally tend to go up, because of the buybacks. So it's a classic strategy, and as long as it holds, because if we see a market crash, probably they won't buy more shares. They would stop doing buybacks during that time. But during that uptrend, it makes sense, to do buybacks. Next one, 4 point, new discoveries and growth projects. Major oil discovery in Brazil, adding to long-term production growth. This is very important, guys. It's like if they manage to create more more production, is good, for as long as the oil production remains high in terms of revenue, because right now the crude oil is not making new highs, but it's not bad either. It's like trading sideways. Sector tailwinds is like strong refining margins and solid downstream performance despite volatile oil prices. This is very important. Obviously during a downtrend, they manage the costs, and they are keeping it high. This is important. Well, and you can clearly see that in the net income that I showed you before. And lastly, but not least, investor confidence. Analysts and funds view BP's turnaround, discipline, execution as credible, driving renewed interest in the stock. And that's the truth, guys, because at the end of the day, the net income is the most important indicator. So even though the market cap has, crashed to almost half, which is interesting, I don't know if that's true, the data, because actually here the price action is very close to knee highs. In any case, that's because of the dividend, of course. If I deactivate the dividend, a completely different story. But nevertheless, this is important, guys. With the dividend included, is nearly new highs. The ones that were established back in February 2024. So the net income remains high. Here you can clearly see that it's going up again. It's important. I don't think if we're gonna see these December 2022 levels, but nevertheless, they're going up again to 150 probably, and the forecast is very positive. Maybe not for the next quarter, but at least in years they're gonna recover previous levels. But it's gonna take a while. By the end of 2028, we're gonna see levels seen back in 2023. It was between 2022 and 2023. They were the best years for the company. Very difficult to see that happening because 2022 it was like a very exceptional year because of this crisis that we all know about. But in normal circumstances, having as 0.48 of EPS is pretty good. It's like the last time it happened, for instance, 2018, and the second one, 2021, probably is not that number, but very close to it. So something around 0.50 is very good, and for a dividend is, we're talking about like last dividend. Well, let me see if I can see the percentage right here. I have figured, yeah, it's 5.48. It's not bad at all, for the long term. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Leave your comments below, and what do you think about BP? Do you think it's a good one to buy and hold because of the dividend, of course, or do you think it's best, to buy and sell at the top? What strategy do you use for BP? Leave your comments below and see you in the next video.